Drums low, the lights flicker bright. Microwaves got a mind tonight. The thermostat whispers in the dark. Charging port spark like a steel heart. The toaster's on, the kettle screams. The coffee maker's brewing skin. Maximum overdrive. They've come alive. Wires twist, machines won't thrive. Circuit snap, we won't survive. It's the rise of the high. Maximum overdrive. Vacuum's got vengeance in
Hit
its
that
roar.
like. About to get started.
TV's no longer for keeping score. The washing machine's in a spin of rage. Blender sharp teeth escape the cage. The oven plots, the curtain shake. Every gadget wide awake. Maximum overdrive. They've come alive. Wires twist, machines won't thrive. Circuit snap, we won't survive. It's the rise of the high. Maximum overdrive.
All right, let me get started. Let me bring the chat room in, make sure this is happening all around, and good to see you, and welcome to the show. Good morning. How you doing? Happy Friday. It's just the two of us this morning. I don't have any guests on today, which is good because we got a lot to talk about. There's Epstein stuff, there's AI Epstein stuff, and also what I call Saasafrag, which is software as a service. Gone, erased this week. They're also talking about LAS being a problem. Labor as a service, gone. Genuinely, like, we're all going to be twiddling our thumbs and trying to keep the idle hands from becoming the devil's workshop. It would seem. Hold on, let me open up a preview window so I can look at my mug and see you guys at the same time, so that I don't have to stare down at another. There you go. That's much better. So hit that like, share the show. Good morning. Happy Friday to you. Went and saw Def Leppard last night at their Vegas residency. Summer got tickets for it a long time ago, and we almost forgot it was happening. Like last week or whatever, she got like an alert on her phone like, oh, P.S., remember you got tickets for this? A little like general admission, floor tickets. Summer knows this about me. Is that, look, I want to brag, but I get the VIP treatment sometimes. I'm friends with people in the music industry and also in the arts, and so I get offered reserve section booth VIP stuff to go to, and I rarely ever take them up on it, and it's because, especially when it comes to concerts, I like to be on the floor. I like to be in the front. Most people that, if you've ever seen a movie with me, and I pity you if you have, you know that I like to sit in the front row. Everyone else hates it. It's why I go to the movies by myself sometimes, because I know nobody else is going to want to do that. So I sit up front because I want to be engulfed in the experience. of the movie. I don't. Everybody's like, I hate looking around. Like, I don't want to look around. I'm not craning my neck at all. I'm just breathing. I'm absorbing it. You know. That's right. I'm calling you out, Tom Cruise, Mister. I go to the movies and eat popcorn. You probably sit in the middle. You wuss. I sit up front with Twizzlers and popcorn, and perhaps, if my son is with me, an icy. And that consumption act is you want to talk about the rituals we have in our life and the importance of those rituals. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about Twizzlers and a feature film. But on top of that, when I'm at a concert, especially if it's a band I like, and I wouldn't say I'm friends with Phil Collin. I've met him a couple of times. I've spoken to his wife at backstage at one of the shows over the last decade and a half or so. Lovely human being, just a great guy. Very healthy. Has a gym they travel with him. I don't know if he needs that here because in Vegas they have like a special area for the artists to go to a gym that's their own or whatever. So maybe he doesn't need it. But they have this like contraption they bring on the road with him. He's just working out all the time, and he's a great guitar player. It's amazing, and it was great to see Adrian Vandenberg live, who just looked like he was teaching guitar the entire time. He looks, with his haircut and a little bit older but very dignified. He looks like the world's coolest guitar teacher, and just ripping, just so good. They sounded fantastic. The show is amazing. I think one guy passed out from parallax because they've got this giant screen in the back that is on all these shows that you can see at Caesar's Palace and other places, where it creates a 3D effect so that it looks like the stage is gigantic and goes on forever, because it's these are magic stages, so they're built for that, and you can make all kinds of other cool effects with them as well. And in the middle of it, the walls go back and it looks like the room goes on forever, and it's a really convincing illusion. And I'm sure somebody barfed, like everybody's like, but it was a great show, good time. They were very, to quote Marty DeBurgi, incredibly punctual, and it was a great time. So there you go. Hi. Well, I'm glad to do it. Good time, Skunk. There's going to be a lot to cover today. One thing that I noticed that is annoying me, amongst the many things that are annoying me, I will say, is there used to be a link on all of the data sets on the Epstein files. Let me show you this real quick. If you go to the Epstein files and you tell them you're 18, whether you are or not, they'll let you in. And it says, this is the Epstein Files Transparency Act. These are the data sets. You can view the files. There used to be a download link next to this. On each one, view the files, download the files. Yeah, they stopped that. They took that link away when they realized that as soon as they posted stuff that they hadn't intended on posting, that outed Trump and some of his buddies, and they had to take those things down. They're like, oh shit, it's too late. So, by the way, this won't work either. If they put stuff up, the minute they put stuff up, there are people who've got like web scrapers that are just attacking this thing and just pulling down all the files, going, like AI can go through each of these things and just kind of like download, like file by file, right? And I wouldn't doubt that if we looked at let's see, view the, where's the text encoding? Yeah, I think I can view, yeah. Let's just do the Western default. Oh, it won't let me. Okay, hold on. If I view the code for the page, where are you on here, you silly thing? Anyways, if I were to grab that, I'll do it later. But you can look at the code of the page and view that, and then you could grab the files that way because they're linked. Oh, this is the shitty version of I changed it how the page is viewed. I go back to the text encoding default. There you go, back to there. But yeah, I've noticed they've taken the download off is the big key there. I made the mistake of clicking on the 12th one on here, and I have a tendency also to know that they're stacking these with newspaper articles. So you go near the end and you start to see like the stuff they're trying to hide, and man, are they like these are not, none of these are victims. None of these are, there's, yeah. So much of this stuff, I think that might have been a legal document. Let's see. Hi, blank and blank. I hope you're doing great. An update on Leon Black I was hoping to talk to you about. Let me know if you have time to call this week. Correspondence forward. And whoever's talking about Leon Black is blacked out. But the one I stumbled on, let's see if we find this. It's, yeah. It's just a LinkedIn logo. It's in the middle of the page. There's a Facebook logo in the middle of that page. Just hidden shit. There was a rather terrible description of what Leon Black. Yeah, okay. Call with Gene Christensen. Ask more background on allegations. Attorney proffer. Victim was in her 30s at the time of the conduct. Met Leon Black at Epstein's New York townhouse sometime in the 2000s. Was working, giving massages for a few months at Epstein's townhouse. Victim is supposed to be sending a photo of the woman who introduced her to Epstein, described as a blonde and young, probably Groff. She met Epstein at his office townhouse, knew that she needed money, and he talked to her about how he could help her out with money problems. Says Epstein never forced himself on her, tried to get her to take off her clothes. When she said no, he didn't force her, still paid her $300 cash. She gave massages to other men, including Black. Epstein introduced her to Black as someone who could help her get a job. Introduced as Black. She remembered details where they were in the townhouse and they met. She was giving him a massage. He was on his stomach. At some point, he turned over and said it was trying to give her a massage. He got on her back on the table, recalls having difficulty breathing, was violently sexually assaulted, including by being bitten. Afterwards, by the way, that shows up with Leon Black a lot. He apparently bites women's vaginas with their vulvas. He bites them. That's his thing. That comes up a bunch. So you're having breakfast. You think this is a fun morning for me? Have an egg McMuffin, look at a dead guy. This is like when you're flipping through this stuff and you're like, okay, I didn't need that in my brain pan this early in the day, and I'm sorry to do that to you, but we share our pain here at Houseparks Megaworldwiide. That said, in this data set, there's and in the files themselves overall, let me back up to this. There is we go to this, and whoops, no, I want to go back out of here. There is you can search whatever, and if you put AI in there, this is years ago, remember, this dude disappeared in 2019. I'm going to use disappeared for reasons that I'll show you in a minute. But if you put AI in the search results, there's quite a lot of stuff in there. And it's because he has these kind of conversations with scientists about AI and all this kind of stuff. Now, the idea that he was somehow behind any of the advances or financially tied to any of the companies that actually took off is just fucking stupid. As a matter of fact, Microsoft was dragging ass behind everybody else in this process. So the idea that he is, I mean, obviously Musk is in there, but like Altman and those other guys, insofar as I know, none of them show up. They're all too young for any of this stuff, and were, I guess they were well aware of who he was and what he would have been up to. And I mean, everybody should have, but Musk still hung out with him after he'd been convicted, met him after he'd been convicted. Same with Lutnick and all these guys. Like they should have known, but all right. Anyways, there's a bunch of stuff in there where like he's trying to work his way into the Jeffrey Epstein net backs leading innovation in artificial intelligence. This is like this is a draft of how important he is to the whole thing. This is his keen observation. I'll just give you one of his keen observation. AI research, like all science, will advance in spurts. Someone will create an entirely new platform and will launch a new generation of discovery. Huffer. I don't know what's more embarrassing. The idea that this asshole thinks he's actually saying anything, or that people apparently sat around him going, "Oh my God, Jeffrey, you're so learned on these topics," or worse, pretended to. Because that's the other big problem is that, you know how everybody's talking about him like he's this big financial wizard and nobody understands tax law like him and whatever. And like, nah, he's good at money laundering. And there's a bunch of those guys. He was just the only one that had chicks hanging around also. Like, are you going to go to, a regular skeevy accountant? You're going to go to Better Call Saul's office, or are you going to go to the guy who's got like, a romper room version of the Playboy Mansion? That's where a bunch of these assholes would rather go. You know what I mean? He offered other perks to the service, it seems. Now, one of the other things that AI ties into this, of course, this morning, where we're doing our Friday AI, but I'm linking it all together. Is this image of Epstein alive in Israel that supposedly popped up? How many in the chat room before I show you guys have seen this or seen it floating around? Anybody seen it? I'm waiting. I just want to see. Yeah. Nope. Nobody's seen it. Okay. Here it comes. Now, don't get too excited because I'll show you why. Let's see. Let me find a full picture of it because I know there's a bunch of cropped ones. Now there are a bunch of shots of. Yeah, here it is. Oh, yeah. There we go. Hold on. Somebody. Yeah. There's two versions of the picture that I think are kind of crucial. Yeah, here it is. This is the picture, ladies and gentlemen, right here. This is Jeffrey Epstein walking around in Israel, according to photos flopping all over the interwebs right now. Now, I don't know why anybody would think that a beard would just do it. I mean, he's in Israel, and I don't know, maybe there's some sort of racist idea amongst Epstein sycophants that, all Jews look alike, and if he just, if he's a gray-haired Jew with a beard, he'll just blend in, is the theory, I guess. But this is the idea is that he's walking around with Mossad agents because they both got earpieces in, and they're walking with this dude, and I mean, I gotta say, I thought it was Gary Cole, right? Exactly. It's Gary Cole filming the Epstein, the Tarantino Epstein movie, which how he likes to fuck with history and switch stuff around, like in Inglourious Bastards and the death of Hitler and that, and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, it looks vaguely like him. That's not the point. The point is the image has a little watermark that says it's AI in the corner. Now, couple of things. Follow me down this rabbit hole. This is exciting. I want to hear what you guys think about this. Just put your tinfoil thinking caps on. One of the ways that you could create some sort of shock about somebody like this or release a piece of information about them is that you could create an AI image and put it onto the internet and let it kind of just blow up, right? And one would think that if you were going to do that, you would crop out the watermark. Not a lot of work. It's Gary Busey, right? In the Jeffrey Epstein chapter 2 saga, right? Here's one of the other things. This is a curious thing. Strategically, follow me because I got the kind of brain. You guys know how my brain works. I sometimes put on my what if I was evil hat and go, okay, how would you manipulate this? Not only would it be pretty easy to remove a watermark like that if that was the plot, one of the things you could do if an image slipped out of you, right, it is put the watermark there. Let's say an untoward, what better fix in the fucking world? Just get a copy of the image, put the watermark for any AI on it, re-release it into the wild, have people boost it, sell it to a bot farm, pay a bot farm to just boost it everywhere. And then people go, oh, I saw it, it's fake. Right? Dun, dun. Wait a minute. Sorry, I should have Is my Farrago even open? This is just sad. Yes, it is. There it is. I should have this more ready. So technically, I mean, I'm not saying I would do that if I was ever caught in flagrante delicto in an uncomfortable situation. That I would take the very picture that got me into trouble, put an AI watermark on it, and release it and go, here's the original, fuck you. And then you would sow enough doubt about it to make it disappear. Right? Right? Huh? So, do we know it's true? No. Do we know it's fake? No. That's the nature of things right now. We don't have the metadata. And you know how I feel about this shit, kids. This is why I've said multiple times there is no Hunter Biden laptop, is because the stuff they had, the metadata was either non-existent, all over the map, erased, or modified. So I'm completely comfortable going, there is no Epstein, I mean, there is no Hunter Biden laptop, but also that, you guys know my favorite conspiracy theory is Epstein still alive. If I'm going to just pick one to play with, as a one to bandy about, if you were sitting around with friends just shooting the shit and you were going to chase one of them down, that's the most logical and the one with the most clear evidence, So I'm just saying, don't trust secondhand images. You want metadata. Now, can you fool metadata? Of course. But there will be a log of the changes in the metadata, and so you will ask to see that as well. This is going to be increasingly important in our future, kids. I'm just telling you. Now, another crafted image, which is going to horrify and anger you, of course, is the picture that Donald Trump put up of Michelle and Barack Obama as gorillas. I don't know if you saw this one. The White House, instead of, they took it down immediately. I think he re-truthed it or something, although it looks like it was given to him directly and he posted it. They took it down immediately, and the defense from Caroline, fuck the Ten Commandments Levitt, is that it was out of context and it was part of a Lion King spoof. Okay, there's no gorillas in the Lion King. There's I think baboons, and yeah, but there's no gorillas or chimps in it. And this took work, and that's not cover. And I got to tell you, this reeks of a desperate attempt to distance from the, to draw attention away from the Epstein files. Like at one point, it's sort of a, if you're going through hell, keep going kind of thing. Where if you go, you think I'm awful in the Epstein files, take a look at this. Like spin the news media in a direction that just makes them, chase something even more awful. And then you almost write off the fact that he's a scumbag. You know what I mean? You become so, like, the evidence is so obvious and so clear to everybody who thinks that way that it's just going to lock into a block. And inside the block is the Epstein stuff, but it's just a block of awful that you kind of associate with him. And you need look no further because you're assuming a certain level of awful, and whatever you assume, let me state this as clearly as I can, ladies and gentlemen. And I've said this about the maggot reaction to Donald Trump's, holding back the Epstein files, the Pam Bondi stuff, them attacking Pam Bondi and Kash Patel as if they're not taking orders from Timu Antichrist. That they're like, whatever damage is done between him and MAGA, whatever damage is done between him and the electorate or his followers, because he's never going to run again, and this is about feathering his own nest, whatever that damage is, it's nothing compared to what it would be if they knew what was actually in there. It is the damage of hiding it is, no matter how terrible it is better than the damage caused by disclosure. Okay? That's just clear. At this point, whatever is in the files, including about I think 200,000 files that have been held back for no reason whatsoever. I think they're using either the ongoing investigation, which is false, or national security, I believe, is one of the other reasons for it. They're holding back stuff from the Florida case against Epstein. It's about 200,000 pages. That includes the co-conspirators, which would also include Trump. And very possibly, I would not rule out that it includes the report of Trump dry snitching Epstein, and then Epstein getting tipped off, like emails attached that Epstein got tipped off by Trump that they're coming. Because they were able to, by the time the cops arrived and they went to his property, they didn't find any of the video that came from the cameras in that place. It was completely, all that stuff was gone. They have pictures of the cameras in the rooms, but none of the footage from them. So somebody said, that's very large, Ali Osher. I've got to go to the chat on the bigger screen so I can read that because it's a lot. Let's see. How about this? Where's the how about this? Let's see. I have to scroll back and find it because I can't watch it on the screen next to me, and I can't pull that back. Hal Fugelsang says, you, Stephanie Miller, and he are in the Epstein files for the 2012 Sexy Liberal Tour. You need to go to Congress and call them out on TV. Oh, excellent. Oh, hey, I should look my own name up in there. Oh my God. Let's do this. Oh yeah, it was, there's a reference to the Sexy Liberal at the Beacon. I'm in the Epstein files. Hold on. Oh my God. This is it. I've only got one in data set 10. Pre-sale tickets to somebody from the Beacon Theater. Subject, Freedom to Love Now. Rufus Wainwright, Nashville. Oh, I see. Oh, we're just in the other shows. They were looking for tickets for the concert for marriage equality at the Beacon. Or he's on the, I was part of yeah, we're way down here below Bon Iver, Metric, Grizzly Bear with special guest Unknown Mortal Orchestra, and the Sexy Liberal Comedy Tour. Fugelsang, Aisha Tyler, Hal Sparks, Stephanie Miller, Beacon Theater, October 27th, then Brandy Carlisle. That's I made an appearance. Yikes! It's the best possible way. I mean, I'm in a like a mailing list. Yeah. So I guess technically I am in the Epstein files. Look at that. I turned up in the Epstein files. I'm in. I'm in a. Let's see. Emails. Yeah, the Beacon Theater. He's on the Beacon Theater's. Okay, email address we have on record for this. So this is Leslie Groff. Leslie Groff is on the Beacon Theater's. She's on their mailing list. So ew. That bothers me. I don't want my name in any of this shit. Aisha Tyler, me, and John, and that was a great show, by the way. Like, Aisha Tyler's a lovely human being, I would like to say, for the record. And we know we love John and Steph, so I would like to say, and I don't know if anybody else in it is the same. Here, I'll show you. This is the actual thing. In 2012. At 3:43 in the afternoon. Freedom to Love Now, Rufus Wainwright, the National, Fun, and more. And then it's just, yeah. So we ended up in there. That's the only place I show up in the whole thing. There it is. Oh dear. Wait, hold on. We didn't even get in the top 5 of the shows they were planning on seeing. Womp womp. Although I think we're in, it's October. Yeah, it's in calendar order. So, um, that's good. That's news to me. That's fantastic. Okay. Now I don't doubt. Let's see. Yeah, we'll see. Yep. That's the only. Yep. And that's the only time the rest of us show up too. Is in that. It is in that email from the Beacon Theater. And I'm by the way, I'm complete transparency. This is a full search. Here, I'm going to show you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's clarify this. Full search. There it is. That's my name. Search. Only file that comes up. I'm in the Beacon Theater's email. You know, I did a lot of shows. I was stacking shows at that point. You know, Cam was 2 years old, and I was only going out. You know, like I was doing as many one-offs as I could so I could get back home and take care of my boy. So yeah, we're in there with me and Fugelsang and Aisha Tyler and Stephanie and Brandy Carlisle and and Rufus Wainwright. We're all in the same. We're all have to testify together. I want the other files released. I want to make sure this asshole wasn't keeping tabs on me for the Mossad. You know, this is some scary shit. Excuse me, I have to go out to the outhouse and hose myself down. On your birthday, Smarty Pants. That's terrible. Your birthday is in the Epstein files. You should be so ashamed. Hal and Jim Jordan face off on C-SPAN. That would be fantastic. Now, that is one of the ones I had wondered about. Am I in? Yeah, I am. Nope, I'm not. Let's see. Jim Jordan's in the Epstein files 62 times. 62 to 1. And I'm in a mailing list. Yeah, this has a lot to do with like him asking stuff about, you know, articles forwarded to him about Trump and stuff. I don't know that he talks to him directly, but well, let's see. Usually, yeah, lawfare or whatever. This is him just what's this? Yeah, Capital News. External email, FBI Public Affairs news briefing. So somebody to somebody, they're not saying who. Why would this be fucking redacted? Why would that somebody was on the getting a thing you can sign up for? You can sign up for the FBI Public Affairs news briefing. It's not criminal to do so. It's not even weird that you would. See, mobile version, searchable archives are available at FBIBulletinIntelligence.com. Like they just give you this breakdown. Shit, I want to sign up for that right now. Because look at the breakdown. Leading the news. Dark side operations shutting down. Capitol violence. 411 suspects have been swept up in probe regarding Capitol attack. Protest counterintelligence. So this is news that they're grabbing. High school students encouraged to apply for San Antonio FBI Teen Academy. All right, there you go. That's probably why he was interested. I'm sorry. Law enforcement services, international relations, reputed drug pleads guilty to cocaine trafficking. Oh my fucking God. Wait. This is the dude that Trump just pardoned. I'm fairly certain. If the date plays out. the Honduras guy. Other Washington News. Big picture, Wall Street Journal, Dark Side. Okay, so, and this is just like, this is a full fucking briefing. This is a lot of shit. This would be very good information to have, especially if you're checking to see if you're in it, in the case of Jeffrey Epstein. Bomb-making materials found in Connecticut home. Source: Connecticut man was arrested bombing in chosen. Scott Barber, 31, who's a convicted felon with charges of various firearms, explosives, large paraphernalia, illegal transfer of large cap magazines, success of the operation, results of assistance, blah blah blah. You know, this the stuff that proves that the FBI is always doing its fucking job, no matter what Kash Patel fucking says. But yeah, so Jim Jordan's all over that one, but only because I think he was keeping tabs on him defending Trump. There is a bunch of stuff with Putin and Lavrov where he would hang out with them. This is all direct. You know, meetings with Medvedev and Putin and Lavrov. There's a lot of tripling in here. In each of these, releasing the same thing a couple of times to pad this shit, which they're also doing. So when they tell you that we're releasing 3 million of the 6 million remaining files as documents, a bunch of this shit is duplicates on purpose to make it 3 million pages, 1.5 million of which we released before in 3 other forms. Yeah, so a couple of things. So back to our kind of gathering of this stuff, and let me bring up my chat room so I can see you guys or whatever. Doing their job while this went on for decades and decades. Come on. Well, that's the thing, like about other stuff. True. This one, and again, this is a good portion of what he was doing was local. Oh yeah, we'll look at the Comer stuff and the fact that the Clintons now want to testify, and Comer is blocking them from testifying in public. And by the way, if you want to see a sign of true leadership, Trump is blaming his staff for the racist Obama video that he posted. Yeah, nothing says leadership like saying, I'm not responsible for this, some stupid person did it on my behalf. But let me bring up, if I could, the... yeah, there we go. Epstein, sell me one ban hiding. Yeah, here you go. The couple of things. There we go. I'll go this one. Couple of things. And this one. Yeah. So there's so many things to cover. That Bondi was. Well, I'll try to. I'm doing the weave. I'll try to keep track of stuff because this is like trying to give you guys glasses of water from a busted fire hose that's like flying around because there's so much of this shit. But no surprise, Bondi is like removing conversations about what they were redacting, which, by the way, is part of the law. Not only do they have to release this stuff, they have to release their reasoning behind redacting stuff. They have to say, we redacted this person because of this reason, because it was personal and nothing. It was an innocent person, not related, like his pilot or something, which I also don't buy. At this point, pilot, chef, if you worked for him for a long time, fuck you. You can only turn a blind eye. I would say 2 round trip flights if you're a pilot, right? You fly down. I already took that and I aced it. You fly down and back once and you're like, well, that was weird, but maybe I just misinterpreted. Second flight down and back, you're like, okay, fuck this guy. Now, some of these people might have been afraid that they would end up in a deep hole in the ocean. And that's why they kept working for him for a while. But after he's dead, you'd think that maybe they'd go, okay, never mind. A watch group is demanding Pam Bondi's Department of Justice explain why none of the millions of documents released as part of the Epstein files include communications from top Trump administration officials, as the law states. The DOJ has impermissibly narrowed the scope of the Epstein Files Transparency Act by failing to include any communications from Bondi, Todd Blanche, Kash Patel, and of course Bongholio to protect his ass. The obvious conclusion is these communications have been withheld, destroyed, or redacted to the point that they are no longer traceable. They are not traceable in the Epstein library. Now, I don't think they are. I simply think that they are withheld. I don't know that they've been destroyed because, the lesson everybody should learn from the Hillary Clinton server story is that emails don't disappear. Sorry. They're everywhere. I think, where's this? I think I have Oh, maybe it's on the other computer. The Trump about the server. What about the server? And the server. Where is the server? We need to know about the server. Um, the law requires the release of all of the DOJ's unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials relating to the investigation and prosecution of Epstein. I got to tell you, I would not doubt, and they could redact the parts that were about other things, but I do not doubt that they would use a scheme such as, and again, this is me putting my evil hat on, and you guys know that I'm very good at this stuff because I know that being good is a choice. It's not genetic. Being evil is a choice. It's not a demon possession or genetic. You make a fucking choice. Everybody's brain is capable of hashing this shit out, right? A great detective is often someone who can think like the criminal. They just don't live like the criminal, which is clear. Ignorance and innocence do not have automatic correlation, no matter how much these assholes would like to sell you that line. So if you're going to do this, the way you would cover your tracks is in every email where you're talking about Epstein, you include other highly classified details about other stuff. Oh, P.S. We do know that we helped Assad use chlorine gas, right? You put that in there as well. And therefore you go, well, the whole email, even at the timing of it, what's blacking out could be figured out by sources and methods. And so they have a reason for pulling that down. Never put it in an email by itself. That's how you get around this. This is how you escape this later. It won't work, by the way. I would like to say for the record that it's an obvious scheme, and anybody with clearance in the Senate and in the House could eventually get a hold of these things if they could find them, right? If you can get a hold of them from anybody, you can take those files and go, okay, you had no even with this redacted part, you had no reason to hide the rest of it. And I'm looking forward to the day when there's remember the big march to the skiff that all the Comer and those assholes were trying to do, or Nunes was doing, like to try and look at documents and show the president documents that the Congress had access to and all that. Okay. This would be a similar thing. Democrats need to do a march to the skiff to look at the full Epstein files at the DOJ. They have the right to look at them. They have a right, beyond public release, the members of the committee and, like national security, if they're saying we have to hold this back for national security. Okay, well, I have national security clearance. I'm on the committee. I can go look. Wait till that firestorm starts. Thank you. This t-shirt was a gift. And it was awesome. And I'm wearing it because it's awesome. So there's a bunch of this stuff. God. All right. Next up, let me look at this real quick. Meanwhile, a pardoned Jan Sixer is going to jail. Pleads guilty to threatening to kill a Democrat. Because Donald Trump, I was about to say Donald Trump didn't do his due diligence in the pardons and they just auto-penned it. But I got to tell you, I think they set some of these assholes free specifically for this reason. Because I got news for you. There's some Jan Sixers who are still in jail. They didn't all get a blanket pardon. There's some that they're just not talking about. And those are the ones that are like, I want to kill everybody. I want to kill Trump and Nancy Pelosi. They just don't consider them Jan Sixers anymore. Like they snapped and whatever. But this one in particular, what's his name? Christopher Moynihan, 35, pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor harassment charge. Threats against elected officials are not political speech. They're criminal acts. By the way, get ready for more of this. He sent text messages about Jeffrey's appearance in New York saying, I cannot allow this terrorist to live and he must be eliminated. I will kill him for the future, was what this guy wrote. He was sentenced to 2 years for his role in Jan 6. And he was pardoned by Trump his first day back. He's going to be sentenced April 2nd. Even though he was pardoned, still on his record. That's right. Just because you receive a pardon doesn't mean that the president declared you innocent. That's not how that works. Okay, the other thing, and we'll we'll talk about. I want to see which one this is. Yeah, this is a new one. Yeah, Jonathan Reiner, who worked for Dick Cheney, posted on X about that this still makes no sense about Trump's "I like thin blood." I like thin blood, and I cannot lie. I, I want swelling in my thighs. This is.
There
Still
will be
taking
a
the
time.
aspirin? Still taking the
I
aspirin?
do. I take aspirin, and I don't want to change. You know, I don't want to.
So you go against your doctor's orders. You do what you kind of feel.
You know, I've been taking aspirin for 30 years, and I don't want to change it. So you know, they say take the smaller one. I say, well, I want that blood to be nice and thin running through my heart. There will.
That I mean, that sounds even more nuts than when you read it. But anyway, so there's an article in the Daily Beast where he's just basically just calling bullshit about how like this, like there's no way to parse this out. And I gotta tell you, I'll tell you what, it makes sense if it's coming from a stroke victim. Wouldn't you say? I would say so. I would say that if you've had a stroke, not only would you continue this kind of medical regimen and lie about what your doctor's doing because insurance and all sorts of other reasons, like if you're just a civilian, there are a bunch of reasons why people would make up why they take so much aspirin if anybody stumbled on it and they had to make up a story rather than let people know they'd had a fucking stroke. But also, as a stroke victim, you might say stupid shit like this. Yeah. And Trump wants his blood as thin as his skin.
We first met 10 years ago when you were running the first time. How do you feel now as you approach 80?
I feel great. I mean, physically and mentally, I feel like I did 50 years ago. It's crazy. Now, there'll be a time when I won't be able to give you that answer, but
yeah, about 8 minutes from now after the Adderall wears off.
that time hasn't come, you know? I do. I think it's very important. I've done more physicals. I take physicals just to give the report out.
Yeah.
I take cognitive physicals, so I do.
That would be an MRI, I think, right? A cognitive physical? A cognitive physical. Really? You're like, okay, do some brain jumping jacks. 9, 10, 11. What are you doing? I'm doing a cognitive physical. What are you doing now? I'm stretching. I'm doing my brain stretches. Ow! I pulled a brain hammy doing brain stretches. I'm a cognitive physical.
A cognitive mind test, okay?
No, not okay. Not okay at all. No. Okay? Okay? Get off my ass about this. Okay? Okay? My brain is not falling apart. Watch me do reassuring hand gestures trying to shut you down. If you were closer, I'd put my hand on your shoulder like I do with some people. That's that me stopping you from asking any further questions hand gesture. Okay? No, not okay, stupid.
Yeah.
I take cognitive physicals, so I do a cognitive mind test, okay? And a lot of people wouldn't be able to do.
Okay, CSL, we got a new audio drop. That's the first good one in a while. Oh, God. Okay? Shut up. Stop asking me.
Well, not easy. You know, you get to those last questions. I've done 3 of them. No other president has agreed to do them. I do.
They haven't needed to because their MRI didn't look like a block of Swiss cheese in a microwave.
Because I have no problem with it because I'm 100%. Now,
I don't know what more you need, really. There you go. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Anybody who would say
Action replays in magnified fortune.
is 100%.
Yeah, look.
I mean, nothing says 100%
Our
more.
army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
That's Joe Rogan's a big fan of history. That's his favorite quote. And of course,
Heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your.
will ribidoot oh, ribidoot oh yeah, ribidoot oh. It's like a background singers for his song "Cognitive Exam." I aced it. I aced it. Ribidoot oh. Oh. I aced it. What else bullshit? What other phrase could I use to describe winning without seeming like Charlie Sheen on a bender? Oh God.
There
Still
will be
taking
a
the
time.
aspirin? Still taking the
I
aspirin?
do. I take aspirin, and I don't want to change. You know, I don't want to.
So you go against your doctor's orders. You do what you kind of feel.
You know, I've been taking aspirin for 30 years, and I don't want to change it. So, you know, they say take the smaller one. I say, well,
It's dangerous. It's not healthy. Ask Dr. Oz. Even he, with all his bullshit, will go, yeah, that's not good. Actually, he won't. He'll go, yeah, you should take it, because he knows he's had a stroke.
I want that blood to be nice and thin running through my heart.
If at any point your age...
Whoa, wait a second. Whoa. Edit?
Through my heart.
If at any point...
Yep. That was an edit. He said something else even further than that. Do you guys see that? Wait.
Thin running through my heart.
If at any point...
His body position is different right after he, like, it's a cut.
your age impacts your job. Who's going to tell you that, or do you think you'll know yourself?
I think I'll know myself, yeah.
Sure. Just like every drug addict knows when it's time to stop, and every Alzheimer's patient knows exactly when they shouldn't be driving.
I think I'll know myself. I wouldn't do
I think I'll know myself, therefore I am myself, I think.
an interview with you, as an example.
Yeah.
Did Biden do an interview before Super Bowl? I'm not sure. Maybe he did.
Last
maybe
one,
he
he didn't.
I mean, he wasn't capable of doing an interview. And that was things. Look, you know, I know people that are 95 years old that are sharp as a tack.
Right, and you're not going to be one of them.
Biden was a bad thing for old people. He's the worst thing that ever.
He was a bad thing for old people. You know what? It's his sentence structure that I'm most impressed by. You know, say what you will about his shitty vocabulary and his emotional shallowness and his inability to comprehend even the most normal social signals from other people, but you got to give it to him for, I mean, this man can toss a word salad.
Happened to old people because he obviously didn't have it. And one of the things that's so depressing about the press is the press refused to report the obvious.
You mean like now?
And he did have very smart people around him, but they had a radical left culture, and they were very bad for this country. This country would not have survived 2 more years if one of them got elected.
When in doubt, needle drop onto one of your kind of standard muscle memory phrases.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to speak about the DOJ. I appreciate all your time and of your staff's time. They've been
We'll
very,
do
very
another
kind.
one. Yeah.
Should anybody else expect the DOJ to kind of come after them like you've come over after some of your political enemies?
You remember this time?
Yeah.
I was impeached twice, 2 fake impeachments.
He was impeached twice. He was actually impeached. If it hadn't been for the Republicans controlling the Senate, he would have been kicked out of office.
Won both of them easily. Republicans stood by me 100%, but I won.
Yeah, not this time.
Both of them. Mm-hmm. I was indicted 87 different times. And then you ask me that question.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, and you were found guilty of, massive fraud against the IRS and your own lenders.
So,
and it is very reasonable to assume involved Russian money bailing you out of it.
I think I'm extremely moderate, especially for what they did to me. They wanted to take me down. I said to somebody, do me a favor, add up the counts. If I lost, I won. But if I lost these cases, add
You did lose. You did lose. It was the election that stopped you from going to jail.
up the counts and tell me how long would I have to serve in prison? You know what they came up with? 287 years. I said, I better win.
In your mind, that calculation means it's okay for the DOJ to go after your political enemies?
No, it isn't. And I could be involved. You know, I'm the chief law enforcement officer of the United
And he knows more about the law than the lawyers do.
States. I could be involved, but I'm
I could be involved, but I cut.
At best, Matt.
Hold on. They're going to end this back. Oh, my God. A cognitive physical. I mean, technically speaking, that's kind of what an MRI is, right? They did a brain scan. Hold on one second. This is the... Oh, by the way, Dinesh D'Souza has come to the president's rescue. In context, this is both amusing and harmless. We're not in the mood to fall for another race hoax from the left. Well, they sure as shit didn't put the Obamas on giraffes, did they? Yeah, it's not contextual at all. And there's Trump is, of course, the lion, because he's always lying. See what I did there? All right. That said, if I may, let's jump right in here again, chat room with you guys. They did a brain scan for nothing. Yes, that's right. He thought they said there was nothing wrong. Right. Does he do clock drawings once a day? No, he thinks it's using an analog clock is something only poor people do. That said, let me jump into this right here. Hold on, and bring something else up for you guys. I'd also like to point out that Nutlick has basically gone completely silent over the last couple of days, specifically because of the stuff coming out of there. And I honestly think you almost like release the ape video of the Obamas to help people in your cabinet also with that distraction. Let's see. Where's I left my iPad in the other room. Damn it. Talk amongst yourselves. I have to grab something. And of course it went to sleep. Son of a dog doodle. All right. I'll just have to find it again. Annoying. Sometimes in the mornings I make myself blind by reading a bunch of shit before the show starts, and I get down these rabbit holes. Oh, hold on. Wait, where are we going? Here we go. Yeah. One of the other things that, because Hillary said she wants to testify in public. She and Bill want to testify in public, and Comer's like, "No, this got to be in private. You guys are gonna mess us up by basically being material witnesses to the fact that, oh yeah, you know what's funny? This is nuts, but I really do think part of this is true. Is that Trump is having a real hard time bagging on Bill Clinton right now. In the same way that he kind of talked softly about Epstein a bunch in the initial days, like he was very protective of him until it was disadvantageous to do so. Now that he's dead, he can talk shit about him, call him a creep and all that kind of stuff and say he didn't matter. But I would argue that he was pally with Bill Clinton around the same time, or wanted to be anyways. He certainly liked Hillary Clinton before he ran against her, because of the power structure, because they came to New York, and he was a former president and first lady who were in New York, and they were other power players, and he just tries to get close to them. I think he's actually afraid of what the Clintons will say, because they witnessed how he was, or at least Bill did when they were around there, right? So, anyways, they announced that they have caught the leader of the Benghazi attack. Curiously, right at the time when Hillary Clinton wants to testify in person, right? So they can just kind of reinvigorate that thing to shit on her because she's not really in the files to speak of. She's in there because she's married to Bill, but not because she went along with this. Unlike Howard Nutlick's wife. Let's jump down that rabbit hole, shall we? Let me go back to here. That's the oversight. Yeah, here you go. Whoops. Oh, there you go. My caps lock was on. Here's the first one. I will not vote for Hillary Clinton. About Clinton's run for president. These are all like articles and stuff. Let's see. Stories about Jeffrey. I still have not received landing permission from Abidjan. I just spoke to David Tokoff, who is in contact with General, who runs the airport, and he told me verbally to land, and he'll make arrangements with the airport for arrival. So security will be. Plus, Hillary Clinton arrives Monday night into Abidjan, according to Mr. Tokoff. So security will be high. He told me to park aircraft at the Air Force Base instead of civilian side of the airport, and we'll have blah, blah, blah. Just received this from hello, Larry. There won't be a problem. You'll have the permits by tomorrow. Still no news. Please give me your phone number. I'll call you now, blah, blah, blah. This is to Epstein from Larry somebody, because please advise, thank you, Larry. But it takes out which Larry it was. Like, she's in there because of proximity. And again, a lot of repeated sets in 9, 10, 11, the same shit's released, and then articles and that kind of stuff, right? We'll see if there's, let's see. Apparently Hillary Clinton would also be there the same day as you. I guess you know her fairly well. Let's see. Okay, I thought you were suggesting I not come with Hillary there. I can come on the 16th, leave the night of the 17th, and see him again. Yeah, so let's read this whole little, should we read this little stretch between Epstein and Nina Kay? Where's the start of this? I'm also going to be in Paris to meet the Kazakh foreign minister on the 28th of January. Wow, wow, wee, wah! Hold on. This is the... There we go. Now I have it. Okay. I will have Thorn Jagblend, head of the Council of European States and the head of the Nobel Peace Prize. Maybe we give Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. You won't know the difference. If your uncle's in Paris, we could go back together. I will do as your uncle wants. I can come on the 17th. I can meet in Paris on the 28th. I'll meet in Paris from 8 to 15. I want him to also know that I've received not one work from CD, I guess word. Now you get to see what I mean about lack of communication. Sorry I didn't get to the party. When you say we could get back together, are people going to be in Paris around the 28th? I remember saying that the head of the Nobel Prize would be in Paris on the 12th, but he's going to be there on the 28th too. I'm asking the precision because I'll show him the email and at least I'll be able to give him more details when he asks. Yes, they will be there as well. I thought if you prefer Paris, I will bring you there on the 28th after you finish your job. I just left his place, and he knew about the 17th date. He said the 17th is a perfect date. Apparently, Hillary Clinton would also be there the same day as you, and I guess you know her pretty well. Also concerning Paris, he'll be there on the 20th. He's returning on the 1st, the 16th, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, let's do Paris on the 27th. I will take you from me to New York. Then if you want to stay and do nice and meet him again, the foreign minister of Kazakhstan will be there. I do not want to be there the same day as Hillary. This is confirmed now. A lot of typos in this, but he does not. I do not want to be there the same day as Hillary. Now, that's just a needle drop in one of the files, but this is just in where Hillary Clinton shows up in this stuff. Okay, now let's do Letnick, and let's see if his wife, who said, my wife and I decided in the 6 or 7 steps from my house to his that I would never be in the room of that disgusting man again, right? That's okay. Well, apparently it didn't stop his wife from emailing back and forth. Let's see. To Howard Lutnick from Leslie Groff, which is Epstein's assistant, CC Austin, Candace, Gilbert, Matthew, Daphne Wallace, and Rodriguez. This is will be down in St. Thomas part. that's the part that includes his wife. Hold on one second. I want to get the actual one where he goes. So Leslie Groff, Alice. It would be Allison Lutnick. Yeah, here it is. Leslie Groff. Hello, Mr. Lutnick. Jeffrey Epstein, I understand you'll be down in St. Thomas. That was the part of... Okay, this is a duplicate of the same one. Hold on one second. I'll just type in Allison Lutnick. How about that? There you go. This is Allison. Okay. To Leslie Groff, from Leslie Groff to Jeffrey Epstein, please see below. Hi, Leslie. This is Allison Lutnick. We're looking forward to visiting you. We'll be coming from Kenneal Bay in the morning. We are a crowd, 2 families each with 4 kids, ranging in age from 7 to 16, 16 boys and 2 girls. I hope that's okay. We would love to join you for lunch. Please advise on timing and exactly where our boat should go. Would 1 or 1:30 for lunch work? We are traveling on a yacht called Excellence, and I am CCing the captain. Can we look? I know it's the morning show, so we're allowed to freeball it a little bit here if you don't mind. I'm gonna look up yacht Excellence owner. The 80-meter, 263-foot super yacht Excellence, delivered by Abaking and Rasmussen, is owned by American billionaire businessman Herb Chambers. Chambers, renowned for car dealership mogul from New England, and a serial yacht owner who has commissioned multiple vessels under the name Excellence. That's the 2019. Okay, so this is the onboard Excellent yacht aboard the interior. This is the... It's a $120 million super yacht. And a serial yacht owner, automobile mogul. So he's had multiple boats called Excellence over the years. So what year was this? Is Excellent Yacht 2014, I guess. The Excellence 5. Excellence Yacht. I'm going to look up Lutnick. So he was just borrowing or renting or buying the Commerce Secretary planned trip to. Okay, so it's the 188 footer. So now we know the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick planned trip to Epstein's Island. Prominent people have been scrutinized for their visits to Jeffrey Epstein's Island in the Caribbean. Lutnick's visit had not been previously disclosed. No shit. Billionaire trip. There's a planned visit in 2012. That's what it was. Years after Lutnick said he'd severed ties. Sent an email to him saying they visited the Caribbean. Spent 0 time with him. Okay, the visit did occur. He said, "Nice seeing you." Lutnick said in an interview that he invited him over to his uppers, the best, the right kind of massage, all that horse shit. Allison, she explained in an email they would be arriving on a 188-foot yacht called Excellence. Documents show he lives in. Their lives continue to overlap. Remember how he said, "I wouldn't be in the same room for that man, not for business, not for philanthropy." Well, he was just listing all the places they did hang out. Mr. Epstein contributed to a charity dinner honoring Mr. Lutnick. In 2018, they exchanged emails that appear to discuss joining forces to battle construction plans by the Frick Collection, a museum across the street from both of their homes, by the way, which Lutnick purchased from Epstein's trust. So it's a 188-footer. Let's go back here. Yacht Excellence. 108. Yeah, here it is. Okay, it was the Excellence 3. Was designed by Donald Starkey for Herb Chambers. Again, this video shows a 360
Take a look at Jay-Z and Beyonce's 400 million charter super yacht. Most would assume Queen Bee and Jay-Z own a super yacht. Sorry to tell you, they actually don't. They do charter one of the most impressive yachts that ever hit the water. That would be the amazing Flying Fox. Got a spare $4 million floating around? If so, then you can live the same life as Jay-Z and Beyonce for approximately...
So that... Wait, that one would... Hold on, that can't be the same one, right? Excellence 3, a 50-unit super yacht launched by owner in 2001. The Dream, the Excellence 3, Yacht Forums. That's the regular, that's the newer one. The first one was 80 meters, 260 feet. So he just kept building bigger ones. Yacht Excellence 188 owner. The Excellence 3. So this is fun. I hope you think so. Hit the like, share the show, etc. He owns all of them. Let's see. I guess they on board the 80 meter Excellence. There you go. Outside the line. So he basically owns all these. So this guy loans these out, rents them out, leases them. So he basically got like a thing for leasing them out to the rich and famous, I guess. I mean, I guess that's a business. If you're in the car business, it's not that different. It's just a bigger scale, right? And you just make a bigger one and rent them to bigger assholes. The Excellent 3 is sold in 2012. It was sold. I accept. Hold on. Burgess tells me their joint listing of Merlin Wood Associates 57 is now sold, with West Sanford and Northrop Johnson introducing the buyer. They sold it for $50 million, 45.95. 2 twin cabins can be converted into king-size doubles. Okay. Doesn't say who owns it, though. What do you think? Yeah, right in 2012. Interesting. Right about the time, maybe they were trying it out. Maybe that works. That makes sense. The Lutnicks were buying this boat for themselves, and so they were. This was their maiden voyage to try it. Like, let's go down and check out this yacht and sail it around Epstein's Island. You know, that's where you want to go for an inaugural launch, wouldn't you say? Yeah, just trying out a yacht. Serial yacht owners. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so this guy keeps renaming the one the Excellence, but the Excellence 3 was, I don't know how Lutnick came by it. An excellent vessel often referred to as reports Excellence 3, built by it was known luxury liner featuring details, context or mention. Hold on, this is the. It's a 57-meter vessel from 2001. It's the smaller of them, so probably why he would be renting it out, or quite frankly, just letting people use it. But the biggest, I mean, I gotta say, like, one of the biggest kind of semi-shockers, besides the indictment documents, because they don't have they're not releasing the notes from the prosecutor, just the stuff that's obvious that was filed that would have been semi-public at one point. They're not releasing those pieces of paper, I think it's like, I want to say like 200,000 documents that include this stuff. A huge new tranche of files on Jeffrey Epstein, blah, 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 about Howard Lutnick going there. And then, of course, how close he and Steve Bannon were. Big part of this. All right, I'm going to, chat room, I have to say, there's been a bunch of back and forth about whether or not people think this is going to go anywhere, or what's your thought, chat room, on if Comer and the House Republicans will accept the Clintons, especially Bill, testifying in public? Because that's apparently where they're coming from. They're like, yep, release all the files and we will testify publicly. It's kind of amazing how fast they're trying to, shove this toothpaste back in the tube. I agree, KJ Doglove. I think you have to have public testimony. I think, yeah, I also think they won't allow it. Yeah, agreed. Because Comer is, Trump's got to be terrified that they're going to just speak openly about this. And also probably knife the tires on the sort of the conspiracies around it. Clinton could come clean on all this and it didn't really work that great for Bill Gates, I would say. But Bill Gates's pictures are clearly with younger girls. It almost seems like Bill Gates and Maxwell were closer or something than anybody else. But I mean, we won't know until they speak openly about it. Also, Tim Scott has come out against the post that Trump put up, praying it was fake because it's the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. The president should remove it. They did, by the way, but only after my African American told me to. Right? Only after they didn't give a shit about it and thought it was funny until like black Republicans started pushing back on it. And then suddenly they're like, oh, okay, this might hurt us in the midterms, which by the way, it should, but again, it goes into this stack of shit. Jon Stewart's in the Epstein files for what? Well, I wouldn't doubt, like, again, Epstein would follow the news. So is it because he was in there as a, stuff about the Daily Show talking about Trump a lot, I would guess. Oh, and, I guess this is, right, because Bobby Slayton hung out with Trump, the comedian. Bobby, well, here's another tie between me and Jeffrey Epstein. I have 1 degree of separation. I used to have the same manager as Bobby Slayton. And Bobby Slayton, they called him the pit bull of comedy. He, I think I met him twice in the entirety of the time. Once at a comedy club for sure. I'm just assuming I must have. And then the other one was on an airplane where he and I had the same manager, Sherry. And he had just played, he was in like the Rat Pack movie. He was like his big sort of crossover break. But it was more like a commiseration conversation, across the aisle or something. How you may be in the files. We already looked. I'm in there once. I'm in a mailing list that from the Beacon Theater because Stephanie Miller and John Fugelsang and Aisha Tyler performed, and we're in the bulk email they sent out. That's the only time I show up. So far, I mean, here's what I'm saying. Release the files, all the other files, and I will testify publicly about everything I know about, even tangentially, about stuff I've read. I would gladly be grilled by Republicans in the House in a public forum. I will not do this behind closed doors. I will not let them take my testimony and put it out bit by bit. No, sir. Bobby liked pizza. Is that what it is? Bobby Slayton is following up on his trip to New York and the dinner he is hoping to put together at your house. Bobby will arrive Monday, May 20th, goes upstate on Thursday. He's hoping for a dinner on Wednesday. He has a radio gig on Tuesday. Bobby says Louis Black is in for the dinner unless Jon Stewart calls, because he was filling in at times or had a bit on that show. This is to Jeffrey Epstein from somebody. On your last tentative schedule, I show you to be on the island from May 15 to 27. Please advise. So it's probably Heller. Is that her name? The other co-conspirator. There's a lot of repeats of that. Let's see. And Bobby Slayton's defense kind of sucked, I gotta say. Yeah, he went to the dinners with Sun Yi and we go 4 total that I know of: Woody, Sun Yi, Bobby Slayton, and Jeffrey Epstein only. But a lot of times he adds a girl or two on the fly. How many people is that so far for the dinner to Francis Derby subject Bobby Slayton? So they didn't even redact the person who. So Francis Derby was the person from the other email, more than likely. They just forgot to redact Francis Derby's name. Bobby Slayton will be coming to this Friday to the Woody dinner. Bobby has no allergies or dislikes. He eats everything sent from my Verizon BlackBerry. There you go. Have you guys seen the Sun Yi stuff? because the stuff that she says, it's like it's hard to process. It's so awful. She like let's see. I'm gonna try to do this like let's just try the number 15. Yeah, where would it be? Sun Yi Flavor, for those that don't know, is Woody Allen's wife. She's 27 when they married. She's an older woman now. She thanks him for helping her daughters get into university, which, by the way, as Woody Allen's kids, why would they have a fucking problem? Why would you need Epstein's help getting Woody Allen's kids into any New York school? And if it's because of the stuff that people have said about Woody Allen, why would you take Jeffrey Epstein's word? This is so gross and so mind-boggling. Overall, this and chat room, I gotta say, hold on, I'm gonna break out the chat. Thanks, Doug. I do too. Summer and I are big NASA heads. Right. I'm Robin Leach, and this is the lifestyle of the rich and rapies. Yeah, she blames the girls. Woody Allen didn't marry his kid. He married the adopted daughter of his ex-wife when she was 27. Not excusing it, but I'm just getting the details right. It's not actually his biological child. But also, I always come at it from, and you guys know how I feel about this, but I always come at it from the position of abuse victims, especially of egregious abuse, groomed, and mistreated, will do a lot of weird shit in their lives. When people try to dismiss the claims against Trump, for example, because they came from drug addicts, or people with mental health issues, like, I got news for you. Being systematically raped by rich and powerful men who have told you they're going to kill you if you tell anybody will fuck with your brain. Yeah, no, I'm not. It's his stepdaughter. It's totally gross. I'm not excusing it. I'm just getting the details specific. Right. It's blech. Right. So the idea is that Sun Yi's behavior could be seen through. I mean, again, I have this rule. Once you're past 30, you're making your own decisions. Like, damage is damage, but if your brain functions, you're making choices at some point. But yeah, I don't think she was his adopted daughter. She was. I want to. Well, we'll get the time. The timeline doesn't matter. It's still gross for all measures. But I think it was that she adopted her after they had divorced, and he had biological kids with Mia Farrow, and he would visit them, and she had, Andre Previn. That's right, because she was Sun Yi Previn. They adopted her. So it wasn't his stepdaughter or anything like that, but she was there when he would visit his kids or whatever. It was the story. It doesn't matter. It's fucking gross. Anyways, point being, let's take for granted, I would believe, that what they said about him was true and that he groomed her. Then a person who's been groomed at that young age and abused is going to have issues their whole life unless they work through them. And I don't think that marrying your accused victimizer is a substitute for getting mental help, right? Or having a cognitive physical, right? What do you mean we're never married? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's just so weird. Anyways, but the point is, none of it makes it any better. It's just the details are there. But she's not his biological child, and she's not his technical stepchild, is the thing. That people often will say that, and it doesn't make it any worse or better. It's still awful. But what I will say is that if a child is groomed at that age and kept in some sort of insular community where they can't break out, I'd love to have Ronan Farrow on the show. Then I am going to always assume, but you guys have gotten pissed at me occasionally for like Nancy Mace and her awful, but as a person who gives women the benefit of the doubt when they make accusations of sexual assault, I will always give them room to experience that and express it and tell their whole story. if later there turns out to be it was a lie, it was fabricated and all that kind of stuff, that can be worked out in a civil or criminal court. But just for my own ethical standard, I am going to hold that space for any woman who says she was assaulted, right? I have no reason to jump in there with both feet and go, bullshit, you're a bitch, right? It just doesn't make sense to me. And even if I don't like them, even if I don't like the person, some of the reasons they might have the traits I don't like is because of the abuse, right? So I always leave enough space for that. So in the case of Sun Yi, I think there's always a kind of part of that conversation that she was groomed, and so she sees the world through that prism of grooming. Okay? And so when she says these things, on the one hand, this is an awful thing a woman is saying about girls. But the rest of it, the root of it, where it came from, I think lands in the realm of her abuse. Does that make sense? I'm not going to completely. I would argue what I'm basically saying is that I blame Woody Allen for some of her behavior, even though she's an adult. And so domestic violence, same way. So when someone has been systematically abused as a child and they didn't get out of it, or they weren't helped, or they didn't get, counseling or something to move them out of that space, there's reason to believe that they would adapt to that space. I mean, look at what the soldiers, a lot of American soldiers came back seeing what they saw in Afghanistan, where they would have these, because you can't have, unless you have a wife and you can have multiple, you're not allowed to have sex before marriage in the Middle East and in the Taliban and the tribal areas in Pakistan and all this other stuff. So they just take boys. They just have these boys that they rape, these like dancing boys, because as a placeholder for the women they're not allowed to touch, right? And then those boys grow up in the same abuse cycle and it becomes normal. And it isn't. I want to state that abundantly. No matter what Milo Yiannopoulos will tell you, it's not fucking normal. And no one should have to live through that. Fuck that noise. That's garbage. But you can see how, without, an experience of the outside world, like look at the Warren Jeffries Mormon cult, right? You grow up in that, you think it's normal, and then you become a contributor to that, creating more victims who think it's normal. Thank you, Mark P., for putting that up there, by the way. Also, another big salute to Tori Amos and her support in starting of RAIN, the Rape and Incest National Network. Listen to victims but verify is totally fine, but I'm not going to jump straight in a situation like this and not see it, not recognize that that prism is created by the abuse, that they see the world with blinders on. Milo's a meth addicted pig. I will say that I'm enjoying the trouble that Milo is causing amongst the right wing. I don't know if you saw this one. Let's tie this one. So Milo Yiannopoulos has outed another right wing podcaster as having an affair. Eliza Schaefer, who's a big right wing podcaster, apparently, let's see. And he's sharing I guess emails about what they were doing or whatever. But apparently, where is it? Yeah, here you go. Hold on. Get out of here. Whoever this RFH person is, so it's pretty much confirmed that RFH slept with Schaefer to get on an episode of his show. The real story is not that a 22-year-old hooked up with someone they work with and that a marriage between two very young people is off to a rough start. These things are bound to blah, blah, blah. It's confirmed. is the idea that Milo has said that Schaefer has had multiple affairs, and here's the thing: he's one of those like trad family right wingers. He's one of those like women need to get married and shut the fuck up and do what their husband says. You know, the Charlie Kirk familial system, and in that circle, you set the standard. You got to live by it. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this goes to the thing I say about like fantasy and sci-fi movies. I will watch any fantasy and sci-fi movie and enjoy it to the very end, no matter how outlandish the concept or the topic in it. As long as they don't break their own rules. If you set a fucking rule in a movie, if every time we touch this thing, we go back in time. And so to go back in time, you have to touch the special buzzer, the gem or whatever that sends you back in time. As long as you do that and nobody else goes, I found a way that I don't even need the gem. You're like, okay, fuck you. I'm out. Like, I get annoyed. Like, set your own rules and stick to them, or stop pretending there's rules and setting up artificial, drama based on a rule that doesn't actually work, right? That's the thing. It gets stuck in my craw the same way when like these. I don't think your marriage. No one's marriage has to survive. No one has to stay together, and no one should, stay in an abusive relationship, or nobody should marry who I think they should fucking marry. It's none of my fucking business. I think the People magazine kind of rags about celebrity relationships that you see at the grocery store, the most prurient horseshit in the world. It's none of your fucking business. But if you are setting rules for society's behavior and saying that you live by them, then you have to live up. That's your standard. You have to be the flagship in that armada. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. So, needless to say, let's see. Again, I could care less about these people's relationships, for real. But let's see. But I like this whole like. Here's the part where Nick Fuentes is gay. This is let's just do a little rundown of the trouble that the right is having right now. This is Milo Yiannopoulos saying that Nick Fuentes is gay.
It's gonna go good. Bro, look at Tom Brady, bro. Nobody's safe.
Yeah,
nobody. I've been telling people that.
Real quick,
nobody's safe.
In the Bible, King Solomon, right, known as the wisest man in the world. Mm-hmm. You know what he did? Everything under the sun. Women, money, sex, everything. He gave wisdom after that. How can you teach others when you've never been through it like that? You can't. So to your point, is it possible to tell somebody what to do if you're not doing the shit?
Do you?
Yes, I have. I can't tell you what, to not drink because I never have. Is that the idea? Or how about I just tell you about my lifestyle and how happy I am and how I feel it's a benefit to not give my sense of balance and my sanity away to a chemical ever, and I'm good with that. And just be a flag post for that, and then you can choose on your own. But this guy's like, nah, yeah, you can't tell people it's bad to fuck kids unless you fuck the kid. That's basically the argument. Terrific.
Is that whole for Nick Fuentes? That whole for Nick Fuentes? Because he's telling a lot of men how to behave, that little faggot.
Whoa. He taught a lot of men how to behave, that little F word. Also, he's said that Vance is gay. He said that, I think that was on what was it? Tucker's show, I think. And by the way, just so you know, Milo's not gay anymore. Here's his proof. I'm no longer gay. I was never Jewish, because he's Catholic now. And it's been half a decade since I was last time with a Negro, or indeed anyone else. I am inching closer to virtue and piety every day. Are you? From somebody who removed their post or whatever. 5 years. All right, half a decade. This is, I have to say, this kind of something fun in watching these idiots chew each other up, because, again, there's a tremendous freedom as a Democrat in being allowed to let people, as long as they're engaged in consensual behavior with other adults, be themselves. And because of that, you don't get this kind of like internal self-torture. You know what I mean? Like which I would, again, kind of like what we were talking about with Sunyi Previn slash Allen, Sunyi Allen, I guess is his name. That when you live in that bound up state, you're gonna see the world through that bound up state, and you're gonna be vengeful towards the rest of humanity, especially those who are allowed to live openly. Halady, Flavin. So it's really clear that a lot of these guys are brutally pent up, because either they have been, I guess there's two lanes of it. One is where you should be. If you're into children, goodbye. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 or ride in a yacht called Excellence. Go directly to jail and stay there forever. But if you're into something that is consensual amongst adults, that's just not, for lack of a better phrase, vanilla, but your community would be against it because you want to live in the sort of protectorate of Orthodox Muslim, Orthodox Judaism, evangelical Christians, whatever, where you enjoy all the perks of living in that sort of spiritual gated community, but you wouldn't be allowed to live there if they knew how you really were. Then you hide it, and in hiding it, you're going to cultivate a pathology in yourself by living that kind of a lie. I can't see how it wouldn't make you nuts. And you're going to treat other human beings through the prism of your own mistreatment, even if it's of your own making. And that's where you find a lot of the anti-gay, closeted right-wingers, is that, if I'm not allowed to be myself, neither are you. So, overall, I feel like, and again, the people, there's a level of cruelty, I think, in the people that victimize children that goes beyond just like, I'm not allowed to live openly about how I like, so fuck you guys or whatever. It's you have to cultivate a certain level of cruelty in yourself to even engage in that kind of stuff that will express itself everywhere else. And that, like, Trump's quiet piggy, that whole thing, is indicative of a kind of guy who would slap a girl in the face for not properly filleting him, even though she's doing it under duress for fear of her life or her next meal. And if you're like that, that cruelty is going to permeate everything you do. Yeah. So I give a huge space for the victimized to find their way out of that victimized space, even if it's ugly over a time. And again, a lot of victims will end up being drug addicts or having bipolar and schizophrenic and stuff. And sometimes, by the way, they're targeted because of it. Let's not kid ourselves. that pedophiles and hebophiles and pederasts will target people, young people who clearly have mental issues to start with because they won't be believed. Yeah, you ply them with alcohol or drugs, and you can't believe her. She's crazy, right? There's a myriad of stories of like, white trash dudes taking advantage of their girlfriend's children, who are in special programs or whatever, because they can get away with it. Because no one will believe the victim. Especially because they've been abused to the point where they were mentally ill, or they were mentally ill and therefore are a good target for abuse. And Trump, the biggest thing about him, and maggots, I hope we have a couple of maggots in here today. I hope you at least showed up for me being in the Epstein files once. But Trump continues to surround himself with people who are all over the Epstein files, that have deep and secretive relationships with Jeffrey Epstein. That lied about it, actively lied about it. And not to mention, the sort of strange bedfellows aspect of him, like having somebody like Besant on his team who worked for George Soros. If Besant had worked in the Biden White House, it would have been one of the primary stories that Glenn Beck ran with every fucking day. But he's in Trump's White House, so it's all about money, so it doesn't matter. You're a maggot? Yes. So that part, like from a maggot standpoint, they've got to be stewing about this stuff. Like the Besant Soros connection, has got to be a running issue with them. Yes. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. So I'll show you. This is Besant and his husband and their first kid. Scott Besant worked for Soros's fund management for two periods, 91 to 2000, and then 2011 to 2015, serving as chief investment officer before starting his own fund. He spent roughly 13 years directly managing money for Soros, playing key roles in major trades like 1992 bet against the British pound and the 2013 short of the Japanese yen. Sound anything like his Argentinian put or short? Scott Besant and John Freeman have two children, Cole and Caroline, born through surrogacy. Besant has discussed their journey to parenthood in interviews, noting the changes in legal and social acceptance over time, which is fine. And again, this is a right winger who describes that what I just showed you as Scott Besant, a homosexual, worked for George Soros not once but twice, totaling 13 years in Soros' service. Just the phrasing of that is hinky. He also purchased two children, which last time I checked is human trafficking. No, it isn't. A gay couple having a child through surrogacy isn't purchasing a child, you fucking weirdo. You're base Treasury Secretary, folks. Let's see. Yes. Remember, Besant is a Soros protege. A bunch of this stuff is him attacking Newsom. But if he brought the knee pads, maybe it's for his meeting with Alex Soros. I don't know. That's the joke, which is really weird considering he used to work for Soros. Right. Besant and George Soros broke the pound together. Yeah, it was the Dukes. So, point being is that there are a myriad of areas where Trump has just thrown MAGA to the wolves to feather his own nest or support his own his future beyond the White House, whatever he thinks that is, if he even thinks he's going to fucking make it. That's the other thing. Because again, his health is not good. And increasingly, I don't know, it seems like one of these guys who's trying to like build himself a coffin of gold. But I think Trump believes whatever they're selling him, that he's going to live forever or live 250 years, and he'll live 150 if he can keep eating fish or whatever. But this isn't getting any better. And it feels like a lot of them are just lining up behind him to push him off a cliff, knowing that most people won't mind by the time it happens. Oh, by the way, this is his other hand right now. That was at the World Economic Forum, I think. Let's see. Trump. The part I think they cut out of that interview we showed earlier was he goes, I want nice thin blood pouring through my heart. And then he said after that, they'd rather have me take the smaller one. I take the larger one, but I've done it for years. And what it does do is it causes bruising. So he excused his bruising with the extra aspirin that he takes. And obviously, Dick Cheney's personal physician, who oversaw his 6 heart attacks or whatever, is like, yeah, that's not good. We know from experience that's not good. All right, before I go, let me bring up something. I want to show you something that I saw earlier, and then we'll start from there. And I will see you guys this afternoon. There is a... Oh, yeah. Okay, so this was the launch this morning. Let's do this real quick. So Trump announced this morning Trump RX, because nothing says health like a guy who's putting makeup on his bruises. I think it's kind of weird that the artwork for TrumpRx.gov looks like the same color as his hand makeup. This is his real.
Gentlemen, the President of the United States.
By the way, what's Trump RX going to do? It's going to give you a coupon.
Donald J. Trump.
I'm not kidding.
Thank you very much. Thank you. This is a big deal. This is a very big deal. People are going to save a lot of money and be healthy. So we're here this evening to celebrate the launch of one of the most...
Look, I know he has a hard time reading. Oh, thanks. Okay, we'll go straight into Cliff's show. Okay, right after that. That's awesome. So we'll on YouTube, you guys can hang out, and right at the end of the show, we're gonna jump right into Cliff's show. And so I'll try and do this in the next 10 minutes, so we're going to have to cover all this. He says a bunch of shit about the prices going down. And
transformative healthcare initiatives of all time. There's never been anything like it.
Yes, no other president has thought to give people a coupon.
Starting tonight, dozens...
I'm not kidding, by the way.
...of the most commonly used prescription drugs will be available at dramatic...
With a coupon. Use coupon code TrumpCoin at purchase.
For all consumers throughout a new website. It's called...
Sorry, all consumers? So you don't have to be an American to use it? Awesome.
Called TrumpRx.gov. That's TrumpRx.gov. For years...
By the way, this is like... this is like Trump writing his name on the rescue funds. This is not an actual thing. This is something for like gullible assholes to take to the pharmacist and go, but I've got this thing. Like the price comes down with this organization, this thing, whatever it is, and I think you have to sign up under Medicaid or Medicare, well, you'll see. It's so stupid.
Politicians from both parties have promised to bring down prescription drug prices and make healthcare more affordable, but they all failed. It was all words as usual. They failed, and they failed badly. They tried doing this, some of them, most of
them. Nobody ever tried giving people coupons. It's stupid.
Didn't even try. because they never really had a shot at it. But I'm actually getting it done, and it is done, actually. This launch represents the largest reduction in prescription drug prices in history by many, many times. And it's not even close. You're going to see numbers that you're not going to believe.
You're right. I don't.
Americans have long been paying the highest drug prices anywhere in the world, while other countries often paid pennies.
By the way, if I may, the way they got this was they effectively used the big bullshit bill to bulk buy a bunch of this stuff for a limited time. So they went like as a point of national security, like they made deals with these pharmaceutical companies under the same laws we did with COVID and the vaccine, using the same stuff to bulk buy a bunch of these things so they put the burden onto the taxpayer without adding to Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security or the medical benefits from it. They just absorbed it into a giant debt chunk and hid it in the other bill. So Republicans who would fight, expansion of Medicare, Medicaid, and these kind of things, or the allowance of bulk buying, just let it slide through because conservative Republicans didn't even fucking pay attention to what was in that bill. So they bought a big chunk of these things. They did the exact same thing France is doing and England's doing, but they did it in a way that they can pretend they're not. They nationalized a section of the healthcare using debt instead of just passing it as a tax and admitting that that's what they're doing.
On the dollar for the exact same drugs. We were essentially subsidizing the entire world and subsidizing by hundreds of billions of dollars.
We still basically are. We're just doing it through tax dollars instead of cost direct from the purchaser of the drug. Everybody's paying for it, whether you use the drugs or not, which is socialized medicine to most Republicans, but they don't think maggots will notice.
Every year, the United States is just 4% of the world's population and consumes only 13% of all prescription drugs, yet pharmaceutical companies have been making 75% from these drugs. Think of it, 75% of the money they made came from the United States, with a smaller population than what we will call the world.
We'll just call it that, which is a region, by the way. So
the American people were effectively subsidizing the cost of drugs for the entire world, and it's not.
And we still are. We're just doing it with debt now.
Not going to happen any longer.
We're still doing it. We are still subsidizing the rest of these costs. They bulk bought a bunch of these things and paid off the drug companies to pretend there was a deal. That's why the drug companies' stocks still went up even after this deal was made. If somebody thought they were gutting their profit margins, do you think the stocks would survive?
Ended it. Everybody knew it was unfair for 30 years, but nobody did anything about it. Under the most favored nation agreements my administration has negotiated, the United States will pay the lowest price paid by any other country. So we're taking the lowest price paid for drugs.
Yes, those countries bulk buy the drugs. That's why you could only get, I think, 9 drugs on this site. There will ultimately probably be no more than 20, because they will bulk buy them just like Europe does. Fuck Europe. Europe's shitty. Europe's socialist. Europe has socialized medicine, all that kind of stuff. All the crap they throw at Europe, Trump just did the exact same thing.
Will pay equal to whatever.
Except he lied to the public about it. Except he tricked maggots into bulk buying these drugs with with $1 trillion of debt.
Whatever the lowest price anywhere in the world, that's the price that you're going to be paying. It's a tremendous reduction. Drug prices in other nations will go up by doing this. They had to agree, and the reason they agreed is I used tariffs. I said, if you don't put them up.
They also haven't gone up. Like, this is nonsense. Let me show you the actual thing, because he just says the same shit. We've heard this is basically a prepared statement. He's exhausted, so he doesn't. He veers off a couple of times, but you'll notice he's sticking to that fucking teleprompter like crazy because he wants to get done and get it out of there. And then he hands it off to
By the way,
Oz, and then Oz.
So you demanded, President demanded, that we have most favored nation drug pricing, which he explained beautifully. Today, you can now get access to these discounted, steeply discounted prices.
Okay, where'd the discount come from? The other countries haven't raised their prices yet. So these companies are just dumping these drugs now? Is that what it is? Now, in the case of the GLP-1s, like Wegovy and those other ones, the price is coming down because of the ubiquity of their use. You know, a specialty drug is always more expensive. That's why cancer drugs are super expensive, because fewer people have cancer than don't. And they're specific to a kind of cancer, for example. And so not everybody uses them. And so they're expensive to produce because they don't make a lot of them. And it's, you know, and there's legal issues. And there's, there's a myriad of reasons why those kind of drugs are expensive to produce in the first place. The research that goes into them, all the costs, you know, the R&D, we hear about that all the time. But there's a reason why prices of some drugs come down. Antibiotics used to be really fucking expensive when they were rare. Now, you know, there are labs making them all over the world. It's a very common product. So antibiotics are incredibly cheap compared to what they use. That's why they get overused or, you know, overprescribed sometimes, is because they're so readily available, and a course of them is very inexpensive. But a brand new drug is always going to be expensive. But when you look at the customer base and you're like, holy shit, we want all of America on these GLP-1s. So let's cut the price and get it into everybody's hands. That's why. The price is coming down for that reason, not because he cut some fucking deal. It's because they're fully expecting this drug to be used by 60% of the populace for a myriad of reasons, not just for weight loss and for pre-diabetic people or people who are diabetic and need to lose weight, but also people, you know, there's like the GLP-1s and the GLP-2s have a, you know, possible anti-aging benefits and stuff. So people using them off-label, they want them in everybody's hands. They're going to be the slipperiest drug, right? Following after Viagra. You can fucking make a phone call a website, tell them a couple of symptoms, and they will get it to you. If it's $1,300 a month, even if you could do that, you wouldn't. But if they drop it down to $200, imagine the customer base. This isn't a fucking deal.
All the hard work the president and the administration have done now is yours, but you have to go check.
Oh, and he includes insulin too, which Biden lowered the cost of, and that's now in effect. So he just adds this to this thing.
Trump RX.
Take a coupon from Trump RX to make people think he had anything to do with it.
.gov. So if you have access, please log on right now. It's free. You get to look at all the prices, and you should not be buying drugs anymore going forward without at least checking to see if those medications are available at these discounted prices on TrumpRx.gov. That stated, Mr. President.
Also, why would you have to go there? If Americans are going to be able to buy these things at this, why isn't that just automatically showing up at the fucking pharmacist? Wouldn't your doctor know this? You need a coupon?
President, many people don't appreciate this, but one of the most special things you've been able to do, besides negotiating these kinds of deals.
I took a cognitive physical. I'm a very smart. This is my. I'm giving him my Churchill face.
Is bringing wonderful people around you who can actually fulfill the dream of making drugs accessible so Americans no longer suffer that affordability issue. 1 in 3 Americans are turned away from the drugstore. They can't afford the drugs. No more. Our most vulnerable are protected. To do that, you need brilliant software engineers. And Ed Korstein led a wonderful group that you hired. Folks, again, would never normally have come into government to work to make this possible.
What, to make a website that all right.
Possible. And Joe, just a superstar, and he's going to take us through the website.
Well, thanks, Dr. Oz. Mr. President, I've launched some big websites, and this is one.
He's launched some big websites, ladies and gentlemen. He's launched.
Mr. President, I've launched some big websites.
He has. He's launched some big websites. Launch. It's a technical term. Stop me if this goes too fast.
And this is one I think you're going to be very proud of. So you mentioned Gonalef. I think this is an interesting drug that we can check and see how do you find a drug on the site. So we'll pull up the website here. This is TrumpRx.gov. And I'm going to start at the search bar where I can search by the drug name. So I type.
Weird. Who thinks of this stuff?
Type in Gonalef, and I see it autocompletes. When I click on this, I have a.
It autocompletes because there's only 9 drugs available.
Beautiful page that.
Oh, it's very lovely. It's so beautiful. You almost don't realize it's bullshit.
Shows the drug product. And right at the top, I see this is 83% off the original price. Now, how do I get this discount? I take this coupon and I bring it to the pharmacy. I can print it out.
Look, it's got a golden eagle on it. Oh!
I can add it to my wallet on my phone, whether it's an Apple or an Android. I show it to the pharmacist and I get the coupon credit right at the register. Now, this is an intelligent site. We know that there's other drugs that are commonly prescribed along with this, so we surface them here and they work with the same coupon.
Gee, the pharmaceutical companies must be livid that the government is helping them bundle their drugs.
Okay, next, what pharmacies can you go to get this drug? It's a smart site.
All of them?
We pull up exactly where you can go to get this. Now,
oh, because your address and your information's all in there and Doge has access to it?
Going Left is a specialty drug, so you get it through the mail. I can call any one of these pharmacies and they deliver it straight to my home. It's that simple.
Yeah, a lot of pharmacies already do that as well.
Mr. President, 1 in 3 families is having trouble having a baby. We're going to have a lot of Trump babies with these costs. Folks cannot afford these medications. It's going to change their lives.
Again, subsidized drug, specifically because they're trying to raise the birth rate. So they took money from the fucking big bullshit bill and the $5 trillion added to the debt ceiling, and they bulk purchase these things to raise the number of.
Now, this is the tip of the iceberg, because Joe did a lot more.
No. Icebergs are huge.
With Ed and the rest of the National Design Studio.
That's
How many
right.
more medications do you have?
Well, the website launches with over 40 medications, ones that are the popular medications and ones that were previously very expensive. These are things like asthma.
You can get a coupon for Tylenol as well. And of course, if you're going to take Tylenol, remember,
Not good.
All right.
The GLP-1s. And on Trump RX, you can actually find things like the weight loss shots and also new form factors like the weight loss pill.
Yeah, this sounds like a government service and not at all someone time-sharing drugs into your abdomen.
Let's click on this and see the discount for the pill. 89% off the original price.
But wait, there's more on.
As you mentioned, Americans for the first time are getting the lowest cost price drugs like the rest of the world is. And we're not done. We're adding more and more drugs week over week. So going forward, it's an invitation to the nation to...
By the way, there's like 9 or I think there's 12 drugs on there in different forms. They're counting 40 different medications. And it's like, you can have the pill, the syringe, the fucking patch, right?
Check TrumpRx.gov.
Same drug.
Anytime you get a prescription.
Mr. President, we're breaking news. This weight loss shot that you've talked about a lot, this is a weight loss pill. And with these pills, which are actually even less expensive than the shots, we project that America will lose about 100 million pounds this year, which is going to make not only folks a lot healthier, but a lot easier to manage when they do get ill.
Again, 60% of Americans on these drugs. That's what they want. Permanently. Sounds like a savings to me.
But I'm particularly drawn, as I know you are, to the plight of folks, young couples trying to have children. And that first medication, one of the first ones we did most favored nation drug pricing on, has helped an immense number of folks. But the first person to use TrumpRx.gov to buy Gonal-F is here. And I wanted to introduce her to you, if you don't mind. Catherine's with us. Oh, perfect. Secretary Kennedy's going to escort her.
Ew.
Good evening. I'm incredibly honored to be here tonight. I'm a military spouse, and my husband and I have been navigating infertility and IVF for 5 years.
I'm happy to announce that I'm pregnant.
Journey that has included profound loss. Through that experience, we...
All right, I when they bring out and dog and pony show civilians and other people, I skip past that because I'm not interested in dunking on them. And I'm sure she's had a curated story. Wow. They bulk bought the drug. They bought all these in bulk. Some of them they bulk buy and store for the military and stuff like that, especially like antibiotics and stuff like that. So they'll have them, and Like it's a way of like shuffling the cost onto the taxpayer without pretending you're in, you know, you're starting a national health service.
Well, listen, everybody, I want to thank you for the job, Joe. What a job you do. Bobby is back here, who is so instrumental. He's doing such a fantastic job. Who would have thought of Kennedy? We love the Kennedy and the Republican Party, but there's been
I don't know, John Kennedy from Louisiana.
no better advocate for what we're doing than Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Yes, he's never been happier than when he's shelling pharmaceuticals
So
at a discount.
I just want to leave you with this. You're going to save tremendous amounts of money. Go to the site. We have many of them, and in a very short period of time, we'll have just about all of them, and they'll be available for differences of 5, 6, 700%, even in some cases more than that. We're tired of subsidizing the world. We have to put America first. If you think about it, that's exactly what.
All right, this is where the debt came from. I'm just going to leave it at that. This is where the $5 trillion add to the debt ceiling comes in. That's what this was. Just letting you know. Druggie loves drugs. Yeah. RFK Jr. was hoping that, Pervitin would be on there, but, I think he's OD'd anyways. Again, you're like, maggots aren't going to use this because of the information you have to put into the site. Well, hell, let's, I know we're going to bounce over to Cliff and that, but this is the actual site. I'm going to jump in here right here. There's the Trump RX right here. I'm not on any drugs, so being overcharged for the same drug, so it's an ad, basically. Cost per person, $355 for Canada, and for Gonal F, that's the one that they were showing on there. It's just a big fucking ad. Go, stupid. They're really pushing it. The most impact. God damn. Scroll. Let's do this. Let's browse medications. Cetratide, $22. I don't even know what it's for. Wegovy pill, Bevespi. Is there inhalers that they have to? Wegovy pen, Gonal-F, the Ozempic pen, right? Ovidril, another GLP-1. Airsupra, Genotropin, E-string, Protonix, Pristique, Premarin. Yeah, this is like the menopause drugs and the like. Chantix, Nicotrol, Lopid, Medrol, Tegasin. Premarin vaginal cream is half off. It's now $236 instead of $473. I don't know that most pay for that. Whatever the Zavspret, Cleosin, and insulin starting at $25. Insulin Lispro. So those are the drugs that are available on there right now. This Abrelata is 60% off. These aren't. Most of these things are like regular discounts you would get from being in Medicare. So here's the Wegovy pill. What tablet do you want? What strength do you want? Let's go. I'm going all in. 25. Give me that. How many? Count 30. That's all right. I guess I can only get it in 30 counts. How it works? Accept these terms. By continuing, you confirm that you are a resident of the United States, the territories. You confirm that you are not enrolled in insurance from any government, state, or federally funded medical or prescription benefit program. You're not in Medicare, Medigap, VA, DOD, TRICARE, Medicaid, or any other state or federal medical, pharmaceutical benefit or assistance. So if you're not getting these drugs at this price, if you're in the VA or any of these other things. Individuals with both commercial and government funded plans are considered a patient with government insurance. Oh, because you have both, right? If you should begin to receive prescription benefits under any government insurance plan, you understand you can no longer participate. Further, you agree that by redeeming this coupon, you and anyone else acting on your behalf agree not to seek reimbursement from any insurance plan for out-of-pocket costs for prescriptions purchased with this coupon. You also agree not to count the cost of prescriptions toward your deductible or true out-of-pocket costs. And scene. and then you'll get your Trump RX Golden Eagle card. Yeah. So if you're already getting any support at all, you don't get any extra support. And if you do have those things, you're probably getting it at a better price than that. Fucking hell. Is it real gold embossed? Of course not. You print it out yourself. It goes on your phone. Aren't the Nazis into golden eagles? Everybody is. They borrowed it from everybody. The Nazis didn't have an original idea. They just put it all together in one big kind of fascistic soup. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. I will see you this afternoon. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. What a morning we have had. Hit that like, share the show, Venmo, etc., etc., etc. And we're going to go, I'm going to send you guys over to visit with Cliff Schechter with a YouTube raid. Tell him I said hi. Tell him we appreciate him. And make sure that, you know, everybody knows on that show to come over here. Also, if you're in, I don't want to send you out as an army of poachers, but, you know, maybe in the other like-minded channels, if you hang out in those chat rooms, let them know the show's on. Ask them to check out, you know, my show. I don't want to spam them, but I also am not going to hide my light under a bushel anymore. We got to get my numbers up. So I'm just saying. All right. I'll let you guys go. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And I will see you this afternoon. Oh, and I may be talking with my own AI this afternoon. I'm not kidding. Yes.
The fridge hums low, the lights flicker bright.
Thanks for that link again, Mark P. And everything you do.
Microwave's got a mind tonight. The thermostat whispers in the dark. Charging port spark like a steel heart. The toaster's on, the kettle screams. The coffee maker's brewing skin.